Michael, an Afghan war vet, was down and out, living in a van, until Jacob, a kind businessman, gave him $1,000, turning his life upside down. Hi everyone, welcome to Life Unveiled. Let's get started. Michael Davis was born in Columbus, Ohio, in a modest brick house on a quiet street where summer evenings buzzed with kids playing ball until the street lights flickered on. His father taught history at the local high school, filling Michael's head with tales of courage, while his mother worked at a fabric store, bringing home scraps for crafts. Tall, with dark hair and a wide, easy smile, Michael dreamed of becoming an engineer. His notebooks overflowed with sketches of bridges and skyscrapers, each line drawn with a boyish hope of leaving a mark on the world. In 2009, at 20, he joined the army, driven by duty and a plan to fund college. Deployed to Afghanistan, he spent 3 grueling years in Kandahar's dusty plains, repairing armoured vehicles under a relentless sun, leading patrols through narrow trails, and watching friends fall in ambushes. In 2012, a roadside mine shattered his life, ripping away his right arm below the elbow and etching scars across his chest. He came home with a purple heart, a clunky prosthetic, and promises of support that evaporated into thin air. Jobs were a mirage. "Who hires a one-armed guy who screams in his sleep?" he'd mutter, staring into a cracked bathroom mirror. His mother succumbed to cancer a year after his return. His father retreated into a shell of silence, and friends drifted away, their calls growing rare. By early 2023, Michael was a ghost of himself, living in a rusty van on the outskirts of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, surrounded by empty rum bottles and memories that burned hotter than the liquor. Jacob Reed hailed from the same Lancaster, but his world was different. A sprawling house with white columns and a manicured lawn, where his father steered Reed Construction and his mother crafted interiors for the city's elite. Short, with chestnut hair and warm brown eyes that crinkled when he smiled, Jacob grew up on lessons of hard work from his dad and generosity from his mum. After college, he took the reins of the family business and, by 32, turned it into a regional powerhouse, building homes, offices, and a sleek new bridge over the Susquehanna River. He lived in a modern home perched on a hill, its wide windows framing the river's golden shimmer at dusk. His garage housed a black pickup for site visits and a silver sedan for meetings. Wealth didn't dull his heart. He donated to schools, sponsored kids' camps, and rescued Buddy, a shaggy Labrador from a shelter, whose muddy paws tracked across his polished floors. "Success isn't just a bank account," he'd say, echoing his father. "It's what you leave behind for others." Their lives collided on a rainy March day in 2023. Jacob was driving home from Philadelphia, fresh off signing a deal for a new shopping centre. Rain streaked his pickup's windshield, and the radio hummed an old rock tune that tugged at nostalgia. Passing a derelict warehouse on Lancaster's edge, he spotted a rusty van and a lone figure hunched by a fire of broken pallets. Michael warmed his only hand over the flames, his prosthetic resting in the mud, his face gaunt and grey from cold and despair. Jacob could have driven on. Home was close, his schedule tight, but something in Michael's slumped shoulders and hollow gaze pulled him to stop. He stepped out into the drizzle, adjusting his coat. "You okay?" Michael grunted. "Been worse," tossing a splinter into the fire without looking up. Jacob pressed, "I've got a hot meal and a warm spot at my place. Come with me." Michael stared, wary, then nodded, grabbing his prosthetic and leaning on a stick. In the truck, Jacob pulled out his wallet, counted out 10 crisp $100 bills, and pressed them into Michael's hand. "Here's $1,000. It's not charity. It's a start. Do something with it." Michael's fingers trembled around the cash. "Why me?" Jacob shrugged, eyes steady. Because I can, and you look like you won't waste it." Jacob's home was a haven. Polished wood floors gleamed under soft lights. A fireplace crackled in the living room, and the kitchen wafted with the scent of sizzling steak and herbs. Buddy bounded over, tail wagging, sniffing Michael's tattered jacket. Jacob handed him a towel, pointed to a marble-tiled bathroom with a steaming shower, and gave him clean clothes, a thick sweater and jeans from his own closet. Over dinner, juicy steak, creamy mashed potatoes, and a glass of red wine. Michael thawed, his voice rough but alive. He spoke of Afghanistan, dragging a bleeding friend 3 miles through the desert only for a mind to steal him, the hollow assurances of help back home. "Medal's in a box, and I'm in a ditch," he said, tracing the edge of his old prosthetic. Jacob listened, the firelight flickering in his eyes. "Stay the night," he offered. "Guest room's open." Michael hesitated, but the warmth and a real bed won him over. Next morning, Jacob left for work, scribbling a note on the granite counter. "Coffee's on, food's in the fridge. Back at 6. Michael woke with a flicker of purpose, the $1,000 heavy in his pocket. He wandered into town, bought a cheap prepaid phone, and dialed Ben, an army buddy he'd lost touch with after the war. "Got a spot at my garage in Lancaster," Ben said. "Come by." Michael returned to the van, coaxed its sputtering engine to life with the last of its gas, and drove back to Jacob's, buzzing with a plan. When Jacob got home, the kitchen sparkled, and a broken toaster hummed smoothly. Michael had fixed it one-handed. "Still got it," he grinned, wiping his brow. Jacob nodded. "Stay as long as you need." Plenty of room. Michael stayed, a week stretched into a month. He tackled small fixes around the house, a creaky stair, a wheezing radiator, a dusty lawnmower in the shed that hadn't run in years. The 1,000 lit a spark. Michael bought a basic toolkit, patched his van, and took a bus to Ben's garage, where he started repairing cars, old pickups and sedans, his hands remembering the rhythm of the work. Jacob didn't stop there. He arranged a new prosthetic, lightweight and precise, through a doctor friend, and offered Michael a job at Reed Construction's garage. "Your money got me going," Michael said, "but I'll prove I can stand on my own." Jacob respected that, leaving tools and food around like silent gifts. Over dinners, pasta with shrimp one night, smoky ribs the next, Michael shared more. He spoke of starting a tank under fire to save his squad, of losing Josh, who died whispering his family's names. "Why'd I make it?" he'd ask, staring at his plate. Jacob answered, "To find a new fight. You're doing it." Michael skipped the rum Jacob had quietly removed from sight. In April, they tackled the van together. Jacob brought a gleaming tool set from his workshop, and they spent a weekend in the garage, Buddy napping nearby. "Fixed worse in combat," Michael said, wrench in hand. With new parts from the $1,000, carburetor, plugs, paint, the van roared back to life. Michael grinned behind the wheel. "Not finished yet." Jacob clapped his back. "Just starting." By May, Michael enrolled in a mechanics course, using the cash and veteran benefits Jacob helped secure. The new prosthetic arrived, and he worked at Ben's, fixing cars with growing confidence. He rented a small room, bought work boots, wrote his dad a shaky letter after years of silence. "You gave me more than money, a shot at me again," he told Jacob, voice thick, arms tight around him. Jacob smiled. "Prove it by living." Summer tested Jacob. A rival firm sued Reed Construction, claiming a breached contract. Legal fees piled up, threatening collapse. One evening, as he pored over papers, 3 soldiers knocked. "From Michael," the sergeant said. "He told us you gave him $1,000 and a roof when he was nothing." Michael, now steady at the garage, had called his army pals at a veterans fund. Nathan, a lawyer, crushed the lawsuit. Ethan, a contractor, offered a hospital job. Chris brought beer. Jacob read Michael's letter on the porch with Buddy. "I'm solid. Work, school, family. Thanks for stopping." Michael climbed from ruin with Jacob's $1,000 and heart. Jacob, seeking no reward, got aid when his firm teetered. Soldiers repaid his kindness. One deed can ignite a chain of good, raising both who give and receive.
If you enjoyed the story, drop a like and subscribe for more tales like this. Hit the bell, and we'll catch you in the next one.